Dino time, dino time, dino time! Hello, hello! Hi, hi! Hello! Hello, hello! Oh my goodness. Whitey Book, thank you for the gifts, honey. Thank you, thank you. Thank you for the one gift, and thank you for the second gift that was immediately afterwards. Thank you, thank you. Hello! Hi! Hello, hello. You guys are so far to the side. Why did I place you like that? Chotto. Yeah, there you go. Now you're a little bit more centered. I've made you... Oh, now I've made you disappear. There we go. I've made you roll the tool today. And that's because I'm gonna put dinos. I'm gonna put pictures of dinos over you. Very, very soon. I'm excited about it. I'm very excited about it. Hello! Make chat stand here pushing the presents to the side? Absolutely not. No, I'm important. Hello, hello. How was your guys' day? Do you guys have a good time? Do you have, I hope that if it was work day, you guys had a good work day. It wasn't too stressful. I hope that if you didn't have work, I hope that you had a nice relaxing time. Hello, hello. I'm so excited about today because I get to talk about one of my favorite things in the entire world, dinosaurs. Specifically Jurassic Park. For those of you who follow me on the Twitter, I don't want to call it X. I'm gonna be real, I don't want to call it X. It just feels weird. No, I'm just gonna keep calling it Twitter. Those of you guys who follow me on the Twitter, I rewatched Jurassic Park, and then I reread over a bunch of the different parts in the book in order to make sure that I was getting things as accurate as possible, so that I could be like, aha, now you might be thinking, Amora, you have the wrong information, and I can be like, ha 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 ha, well it says this in the book. I can call my sources up, so you can't call me a fake dinosaur fan. Not the nerd emoji. Not the actually emoji. Dinosaur sauce. That's just like fuel, isn't it? Isn't that what like petroleum is made out of? Pretty much. Have I reread the book? One of my Hammond opinions? Hammond? Like the What are I don't know what that means. My opinions on the book. The book is really good. I highly recommend you read it, very much so. If you guys have not watched the film or read the book, be prepared because I am gonna give you guys some spoilers in this stream. So if you're chill about spoilers, then don't worry about it. Maybe if you aren't chill about spoilers, come back to this later once you have watched the film, and then I can tell you about what they got right. Yeah. Hammond opinion. Oh, I thought you meant like it was a term for like giving opinions for things. I was like, is this like a metaphor for something that I haven't heard of about? I didn't realize you were referring to I didn't realize you were referring to like the main millionaire dude. Oh boy. I thought it was like a don't look at me. Don't look at me. Don't look at me. Don't perceive me. I'm going to see ya. I'm going away. Bye. Goodbye. Goodbye. You'll never see me again. No more dinosaurs. You guys suck. Can we have the middle of the screen? I leave and the first thing you think is, ah, yes, the middle of the screen. You guys are the type of person to like hog the bed at a sleepover. Prime real estate. No! No! This is my stream. I get to talk about dinosaurs. Really missing the mole right about now. Oh yeah, the mole. The like ghost mole that would not go away. I had to reboot my OBS for that. I don't know what that was about and why he was the way that he was, but he just decided to stay forever. It took a whole reboot of the entire program in order to get him to go away. The mole, my true Kamiyoshi. No! What about me, huh? Why the mole? I'm better than a mole. Yeah. Oh, do you like my dino plushie? Let me zoom out a little. Yeah! I got a blankie and everything. So I can have a dino plushie. Yeah! It makes me happy. Dino plushie. Ah, boy. So yeah, if you have not seen Jurassic Park, you are gonna get some spoilers. If you have seen Jurassic Park, you're about to get some crazy dinosaur facts. Yeah. And if you haven't seen Jurassic Park and you're like, I just want cool dinosaur facts, that's cool. That's also good. So, I have gone through every dinosaur that shows up in the film, as well as one of the dinosaurs that shows up in the books. Just as like a little funsies little thing, because I didn't want to leave them out. We'll get to that. Out of curiosity, I'm gonna be very real with you. This isn't gonna stop me from talking about dinosaurs because this is my special interest and this is my stream and I get to talk about my special interest on my stream. Out of curiosity, let's have a show of hands, if we possibly can. How many of you guys actually enjoy dinosaurs? Like, enjoy dinosaur facts? We just have a little show of hands, how many? Oh my god, I love the little Lumina wave so much. It's so cute. Thank you so much for commissioning those. They're so... I love them. Ah! Dinosaurs are cool. Have we Jurassic Park just here for the dino facts today? Ah, interesting, interesting. Okay, so we've got a good many. We've got a good collection. That makes me happy. Okay, nice, nice, nice. So I'm not going to be boring you guys the whole time. That's good. Okay. Okay. You know what? I'm not gonna do that one. I was gonna be like, let's have a show of hands for how many is just here for cute girl. But I'm gonna get my feelings hurt if I do that one, so let's not do that. I'm just gonna pretend you guys also like dinosaurs as much as I do. Jurassic Park was the first one that came out when I was in high school. A kid who thought he wanted to be an archaeologist. For a kid who thought it was fire. Oh, nice. So you already wanted to be an archaeologist. And then you were like, oh, this is cool. That's fair. Oh gosh. Fun fact, I watched the film before I actually ended up reading the books for it. So that was fun. I don't know why I did it in that order. It was just the way that I did it, I suppose. Spoilers, the book is so much scarier than the film will ever be. I didn't know there was a book when I was a kid. It's a whole series, yeah. It's oh god, I don't know how many there are. I know there's Jurassic Park, and then there's like Jurassic Park: The Lost World. I think there's another one afterwards as well. But it is what it is. For today's stream, I only went back and read like certain segments from the first book. So if some of my data is a little bit skewed, from lack of knowledge of the other books, then go man. Thank you, honey. Also wrote a book about Vikings fighting in the Netherlands. Ooh, I will have to look into that, I think. I just like reading. I just like books. Only 2 novels authored by Christian. He passed away after the second sadly. Ah, I see. I didn't know if there was like more after that point in time, because I know that they just continued making films. And then the films kind of got weird. But to be fair, the books also got weird. So who knows? The books always go into so much more detail. Yeah. One of the main scenes that I reread today was it was the main scene with the Dilophosaurus, which, for those of you who don't know, oh gosh, what? Yeah, Dilophosaurus. It's the acid one. It's the acid-spitting one. It goes into so much detail in the book. Oh my god. Acid, I thought it was poison. It's like, in the books they describe it as like burning like acid. So I'm just gonna say that it's acid. There's several acid scenes in the book. None of them are particularly pleasant. Yeah, it's true. We're gonna get to that, because there's a couple different dinos in the books that are like poisonous or venomous, or like it spit acid, or just have like acid and stuff going on. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on. To be fair, he did take it right in the eyes. Yeah, but he gets spit in the chest, and then he gets spit in the neck. And it's when it gets onto his skin on the neck that he realizes it's burning like acid, and then he gets spit in the eye. And then well, we'll get to that. The way you do the character. I hate this song. No, next one. Next. Thank you. There we go. Also has weird paralytic properties too. They describe it as like, so there's a couple different ones in the book. So there's the paralytic ones. I don't believe the Dilophosaurus has paralytic per se poisons with its spit. It kind of implies that its acid is like a painkiller almost. They imply that it's like a weird thing, like a numbing agent, because Nedry doesn't feel it. It's only when he feels that it's like, okay, this might be a little gruesome. Anyone who's not particularly good with gore, currently I will do a shimmy when I stop talking about this, okay? So this is your little warning. He gets cut in the stomach, and he doesn't realize that he's been cut in the stomach until he like feels feels that it's warm, and you can imagine what that is. So it kind of implies that he just doesn't feel it. Alright, I'll do a shimmy, shimmy. Shimmy, 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 shimmy. Yeah! We stopped talking about it. Yeah! So there we go. Alright, shall we continue? Should we start? Should we begin with the dino facts? We're already talking about dinosaurs anyway. Let's talk about it now. Are we watching the movie as well? Yes, at some point or another I would like to do a watch along of it. I decided to do today's stream instead of the actual, instead of like a watch along, because I'm currently working off of one monitor, and doing a watch along with one monitor is incredibly difficult. So I figured I would just talk about the dino facts first, and then at a certain point in time when I get a second monitor, I will do a watch along. And watch it with you guys. I would like to do that. How is the volume for everything, by the way? How is the volume for everything? Is it loud? Is it quiet? Is it okay? How we doing? Volume's good? Sounds good? Does the music in the background need to be quieter? Or like lower? Little low as always. I don't know what it is. For some reason, I'm always like, my volume's always been kind of on the low side for streams. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just my settings that I use. Is Subnautica and or any other games waiting on the second monitor? Pretty much. Oh my god. Thank god. Oh, excuse me. Thank god for Steam. Fun fact, Steam has like a cloud option that allows you to like save like where you are. So like even though stuff got like messed up and I lost a bunch of data, I still have the save for the Subnautica because it's on the Steam. Thank God. So, oh my gosh, thank God for that. Yippee! Ugh. Okay, let's get started, shall we? Let me pull up my little notepad. Here we go! Alrighty. Dinosaur time! Alright, shall I move I'll move myself a little bit to the side here. I'm gonna cover you guys 1 second. Washa! We are gonna start with the lady. We're gonna start with the lady herself. The myth, the legend, the absolute beautiful creature. We are starting with the Tyrannosaurus Rex herself. Look at how pretty! Look at how pretty she is! Rexy! We love Rexy. She's so gorgeous. Oh my gosh. Look at that. Fun fact, in the film, they used a combination of CG and very advanced puppetry, mechanical puppetry, in order to bring her to life. Also, fun fact, at some point or another, the animatronic for Rexy started malfunctioning because of all the rain in the scenes, and started like moving on its own because it was kind of freaking out a little bit from all of the moisture, and it's really freaked out the cast and crew. Yeah, can you imagine? You're like trying to film the whole thing and you're like, oh, this thing's kind of creepy. And then it starts like lunging towards you because it's like malfunctioning. You're like, ah, oh no, it's real. Life finds a way. That's the whole point of chaos theory. I hate that guy, by the way. He just like straight up hits on this dude's wife the whole time. He's written to be detestable. He kind of, yeah, well, they succeed. They succeed very much. Didn't Jeff Goldblum, didn't he win like Sexiest Man of the Year after Jurassic Park? Am I making that up in my head? I might be. I think he did, yeah. Ellen and Ellie didn't get married. Well, you don't have to get married. That's just a nice thing for some people who want it. Yeah. Anyway, so Tyrannosaurus Rex, Rexy. She's the most iconic. We love her so much. We love her so much. Oh my goodness me. So, one of the first things we ever hear about the T-Rex is in the very first scene with the Brachiosaurus. They have a little conversation. They ask how fast they can go, and Hammond says, we clocked the Tyrannosaurus at 32 miles an hour. 32 miles an hour is what he says. I don't know about that one, buddy. I don't know about that one. What's that in normal units? I don't know. That's a good... Oh god, what is 32 miles per hour in kilometers? What's kilometers in the thingy? What is that? Siren to the Witness, thank you for the super, honey. Thank you, thank you. Adorable huge nerd princess talks about dinosaurs. Yes. 50-ish kilometer? Really? Goodness me. Wow. What is a kilometer? So, they say 32 miles per hour. This is something that's really heavily debated about T-Rexes. T-Rexes is one of the dinosaurs that we actually know kind of the most about their overall structure in terms of like what muscles they would have, what they would kind of look like, typically like how fast they would go, and what their overall hunting styles would be based on that physiology. They're one of the dinosaurs that we know the most about, which is so cool. I love that. However, she's not fast. Rexy's not fast. She's not fast. She's speedy against a human because of how big she is. But here's the thing about Rexy. She's not gonna be running after her prey like 80% of the time. It's really heavily debated how fast T-Rexes would actually be, but most people have a general consensus that it's only about 10 miles per hour. Which is still fast! That's still really fast! Like, good for her, she's getting her cardio in. But 10 miles per hour is nothing on 32. Rexy isn't fast, she's an ambush predator. This means that she would prefer to sneak up on her prey. She would typically go for herds of animals that were traveling through forests and stuff so that she had ample cover. She would go for any animals that were sick or young, or she would typically be more likely to go for carcasses from other dinosaurs. She has sneak 100, she really does. That's probably what she would be anyway. Obviously, most of these are assumptions because obviously dinosaurs do not exist currently. I don't know if there's anyone who's planning to make a Jurassic Park in the future. I'm gonna be real, we have about like 6 or 7 films and 2 novels now that tell you why that's a bad idea, but you know, we'll find out, I suppose. Personally, I think it's good that dinosaurs don't exist anymore. And I'm not just saying that because I'm scared of Quetzalcoatlus, but you know, it is what it is. Yeah, so Rexy's not all that fast. She'd more realistically be traveling at about 10 miles per hour, and she'd much prefer to go for easy prey because she's big. She's a big girl. Speaking of her being a big girl, I'm gonna pull up my little cursor right here. Ooh, look, ooh, I've got a cursor, look at that. So, Rexy here, you will notice she's kind of... she's got some muscle to her, she's got some little bits of spine, you can see she's got her flesh all of here and all that type of stuff, but she's still pretty bony, right? She's pretty bony. I think part of this is due to the fact that the head director for the animatronics and the live creature stuff, who was working on it, his last project was working on the xenomorphs. So his last experience in working on the actual film was working on a creature that doesn't exist and has never existed and will never exist, potentially. I hope. Oh god, I hope the xenomorphs aren't real. So making a creature with very limited information on what they would look like in terms of muscle mass and trying to base that around something that looks anatomically correct is going to be incredibly difficult. And unfortunately, Rexy here suffers from shrink wrapping. In reality, T-Rexes probably would have been a lot chunkier. They would have had a lot more fat. Especially around the tummy area. She would have a nice squishy tummy. But thank you for the super, honey. Thank you. But Amora, it's not a dinosaur, even if you're prehistoric dinosaurs, no Quetzal. I hope, please, don't resurrect Quetzalcoatlus. I beg you. They're scary. They would have been a lot bigger. Rexy would have been chunky. She would have had a lot more fat. She would have had a lot more fat around the legs, a lot more fat around the tummy, maybe even a bit more of a rounded face for her specifically, but she would have been carrying a lot more weight. She's very skinny in this film. Additionally, we now know that T-Rexes have feathers. They have feathers! And here's another cool thing about T-Rexes. T-Rexes' feathers change depending on how old they are. So, the current theory with why Tyrannosaurus Rex has feathers currently is due to heat. That's what they think currently at the moment. They think that it's due to keeping them warm. Baby T-Rexes were pretty small, they were pretty scrawny, they didn't really have much of a chance of survival, so it's very probable that evolution has given them a lot of feathers, and as they grow up, they molt those feathers and end up looking a bit more like Rexy here, although with a little bit of fuzz around the side of it. So they still have feathers, but much, much less than when they're babies. They have these big plumes. When they're babies, they look like they're all fuzzy. It's very sweet. How do they find out? That's so fascinating. They've analyzed bones. So birds have very hollow bones, and very specifically, they have these very tiny, teeny tiny little indents in those bones where the structure of feathers would cling onto and hook onto and protrude outwards in order to create feathers. They actually discovered that T-Rexes have the same thing. They have the same thing going on. This is how we can tell what dinosaurs had feathers and which ones don't. It's all to do with bones and bone structure. How cool is that? Imagine chicks with lots of teeth. They're so cute. They're very, very sweet. Yeah, if you ever want to see something that's absolutely adorable, go look up mock-ups for what people think baby Tyrannosaurus Rexes look like. They are teeny tiny and they're covered in feathers and they're so cute. They are so cute. So yeah, Rexy would have had a very thin coating of feathers on her. Admittedly, I believe they are proto-feathers? I can't remember the exact term off the top of my head, but they are very thin, and very kind of wispy, more so when she's an adult rather than when she was a baby. She would have had a big thick coat to keep her warm. Aren't they cute? Aren't they adorable? Yeah! She would have had a teeny tiny bit of like fuzz. Thank you, honey. Also, thank you for the super, honey. Thank you, thank you. You sound like how hugs feel. Oh, I'm so glad. Oh, that's a really cute thing to say, actually. Thank you so much. Oh. They were a lot more like quills than what we first thought was feathers. Yeah, protofeathers, they're very kind of like pinpricky rather than anything else. They do have like a little bit of fuzz, but it's, yeah, it's nice. It's what they have. It's very, very sweet. In addition to this, here is the last fact about Rexy that I have to offer you guys. So, Rexy notoriously, she's got these arms, right? It's one of the most iconic things to do with Tyrannosaurus Rex. She has these teeny tiny little arms with these teeny tiny little claws on the end of it, and they're little stubbies, and they're really cute and really sweet. What's she doing with them? So at the time that this film was being made, the current theory was that she used them for slashing, and this was supposed to be up-close damage. So they thought that when she was maybe hunting prey or fighting other T-Rexes, she would grab on mostly with her jaws and use her arms as slashing. Nowadays, we kind of realize that the design that we have for Rexy and her teeny tiny little arms here, her arms in this film are actually too big. Even these little nubs are too big for what the real Tyrannosaurus Rex would have had. They are even more nubby than you think they are. They're tiny in reality, absolutely teeny tiny. And we now realize that with how big they actually are, they're too small to be able to do slashing damage. They don't have the muscle or the power behind them to be able to do any damage with it. She could certainly try if she definitely wanted to, and they were probably very handy for like a, you know, extra little bit of whatever she needed in a fight as an emergency, but they really weren't doing much for her. So currently, we think that the arms that she has are just left over from evolution. That's the current theory. They kind of just think that they just were a holdover from a species that eventually evolved into T-Rex. A bit like how humans have wisdom teeth. We don't use wisdom teeth anymore, but we still have them because we used to need them. Yeah. Which is very, very cool. Another theory for why they have the teeny tiny little arms, one of the theories as well to go along with this, is that they were actually used in some kind of mating ritual. I don't know why they think that T-Rexes are like absolutely getting on about teeny tiny little arms, but yeah. That's the other theory. Can you imagine? Can you imagine like a little T-Rex doing like a little heart with her like teeny tiny little arms? How cute would that be? If animal weird, it's for mating ritual. Yeah, genuinely. So those are the two theories behind why T-Rex has such little arms. They think it's either a leftover from evolution, and/slash or potentially part of a mating ritual. So there we go. In Jurassic Park, Rexy's arms are too big. They're too big. Maybe she's just gifted. Maybe she is. Maybe she's a little bit morphed. It's important to note that a lot of the designs in Jurassic Park actually have a reason for being scientifically inaccurate. It's not just that data was skewed. The actual canonical reason why all of the dinosaurs in Jurassic Park are a little bit messed up is genuinely because they had to fill in the gaps of the DNA with other creatures, which may have messed up a few things here and there. Do you wonder if they had longer feathers on their arms? Yeah, it's very, very interesting. They do actually have, some species of Tyrannosaur do actually have little dents in their fingies that would imply that they had longer feathers at some point in time. But there's not really enough evidence to really assume that that is definitely the case. At least from what I could tell. Frog DNA did a bunch. Yeah, fun fact. The DNA that they spliced everything with is frog DNA, and that causes issues. Jurassic Park was one of the first depictions of the T-Rex in the correct posture. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Yeah. They thought that she stood a little bit more upright for a long time. This was one of the first times. This was like using the most up-to-date information at the time, so they did a really fantastic job, all things considered. Righty. Next door. Whatcha? Here we go. We have my boys, my girls. We have my wonderful, wonderful girls. These are the Velociraptors. Oh boy. This is the kitchen scene, which I love. I love the kitchen scene so much. Amora, is it true you could control the raptors by waving your hands at them? I don't think so. I'm gonna be real. I don't think so. So let's get the most obvious little thing out of the way. So first of all, these aren't Velociraptors. I'm going to refer to them as Velociraptors because both the book and the film refer to them as Velociraptors, but these are not Velociraptors. These are Utahraptors. The reason that they used the depiction of Utahraptors in the film is because this was the most recent species of raptor that was discovered at the time of the film being made. So they basically just decided that it was cool to include the design of the Utahraptors in instead of the Velociraptors. So I will be referring to them as Velociraptors because that's how they refer to them in the book and the film, but they're not. You were bamboozled! You have been tricked. You've been given information that is incorrect. Yeah, so, first big thing. Look at how smooth these girls are. Look at how smooth. Look at how shrink-wrapped. Look at them. Look at how smooth and intimidating these girls are. Yeah, no, actually turns out they're a lot scarier because they have feathers. They had feathers. They were mostly covered in feathers. The current number that I was able to find was maybe about like 75 to 80% of their body was covered in feathers, including their tail. So, most of their body is covered in feathers. They were very, very heavily feathered and very, very sweet and very, very cute. Even though they're absolutely terrifying, so, you know. Love a good bit of Velociraptor. Hee-hoo. Bring back my notes. Oh boy. Feathers can be pretty scary. Cassowaries. We don't talk about cassowaries. Cassowaries are terrifying. Oh my goodness. They're so big. And like emus. Emus and ostriches really scare me. I think it's just the whole thing of like big bird really gets to me. That's probably why I don't like Quetzalcoatlus, because they're very bird-like. I think it's just because I know that like if a bird was big enough to eat humans, it so would. There is absolutely nothing in this lifetime stopping a bird from trying to kill you other than the fact that it's just not big enough to do so. Birds scare me. They really do. Ugh. So they had feathers. Another thing is actually that in actuality, the Velociraptors here are really big. The Velociraptors in the film are huge, and the Velociraptors in the book are really, really big. I believe the reason that they give it in the book is that they were engineered to be a bit bigger, so that they were a bit more scary and a bit more attraction-y. However, in actuality, they were not that big. In the film, Sam Neill, who plays Alan Grant, he is 1.82 meters. That's his height. That's about 5'9" in actual human terms. If you kind of compare his height to how big the Velociraptors are in the film, you can kind of estimate that the Velociraptors are about 6 foot, maybe 6'2"-ish. And this is from the book. The books describe the raptors as being big. Big, 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 big. But in actuality, Velociraptors are only about maybe 3 feet tall. Maybe 3 feet. They're tiny and they're chunky. They're like a very intimidating turkey. Can we keep them as a pet? That is not advised. Truly not advised. You have like 6 films and 2 books telling you why that's a bad idea. My favorite quote is that you could probably beat them in a fight with a baseball bat. That's how fragile they are. Yep. They're very tiny and they're very light because their bones are super hollow. So that means that they can go really quick. Velociraptors are estimated to be quite fast, although I couldn't get an exact number. There wasn't really a number that I could find that people agreed on. Some people said up to maybe like 30 miles an hour, and I was like, wow, that's fast. But some people were like, no. So I could not find a number that people agreed upon, so I skipped over that. So yeah, they're big and they're scary. Geese are truly the modern day raptors. Don't talk to— oh my god, that's true. Oh no. I think I'd rather go against a raptor than a goose. At least I know with a raptor it's gonna be a quick death. Speaking of that really annoying bratty child in the opening scene, in that scene, Grant talks about the fact that raptors would use their claws to slash at their prey, to tear them apart and to gut their prey, for lack of a better term. And probably most of that is him trying to scare this very small child who definitely deserves it. But Velociraptors did not use their claw for slashing. They instead would use their big claw in a similar way to like birds of prey would nowadays, where they would jump on top of their prey and pin it down. The whole point of that claw is to stop that prey from getting away. They wanted it in place so that it couldn't struggle. It's also theorized that some of the smaller varieties of raptor would also use that claw for things like climbing trees or to getting up to high places rather quickly, which is something that we also see birds do nowadays, birds like ostriches and all of that type of stuff. So Mostly being used for climbing and pinning. That's what those claws would be used to. They were really light. How would they pin things down? They're big. They are big, and there was a lot of dinosaurs that were smaller than them. There was also at the time a lot of mammals that were smaller than them. A lot of invertebrates that were smaller than them. A lot of fish. So there was lots of different things that they could hunt and pin quite easily. Even if they didn't have like the weight to like move about, they still had more weight than a lot of the prey that they were going for. SG, thank you for the super, honey. Thank you for the membership, honey. Thank you for the 15 months. Oh my goodness. Hello. Cassowaries are modern raptors. They literally have a talon specifically for stabbing hearts. Good lord. Good lord. That's actually terrifying. Oh my goodness. Ugh, I hate that. Cassowaries freak me out. Have you heard like the noises that cassowaries make? That is a dinosaur. That's straight up a dinosaur. So, here's something that's going to disappoint you all. They put this in every film. They put this in every book. And people just assume that it's fact because they put it in every single piece of media to do with dinosaurs. And it's probably not true. There is no evidence to support it. Velociraptors do not travel in packs. They are not pack hunters. I'm so sorry. There is no evidence to support it. I know it's cool to imagine. I know it's the one thing that everybody wants. There is no evidence to support that they hunted together. I will get into what evidence there would be for dinosaurs living in packs very, very soon, because I'll tell you how we find out. What evidence is there for dinosaurs living in herds or packs and all that type of stuff? Velociraptors did not use the power of friendship. At least we don't think that they did. We currently do not have evidence to say that they did. There is still hope. We might soon find evidence that supports that particular claim, and that would be really cool. Currently we don't. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to disappoint you. Ah, boy. We have fossil remains of certain raptors in a group around a prey animal, and trackways suggesting that they moved in groups, but definitely not evidence of pack hunting. Yes. Yeah. There's bits of different evidence. I'll get in. You know what? We will get into trackways now because it's relevant. So, one of the ways that we actually figure out whether or not dinosaurs lived in big groups or traveled in herds is something called trackways. Trackways are basically fossilized dinosaur prints. You can find these in tons of places all around the world. If you want to take like a hike out to somewhere near you that has trackways, I highly recommend it. It's really cool to look at. These are fossilized dino prints, and basically what happens is we analyze them, we have a look at what dinosaur it's from, and we look at how old they are and what direction they are traveling in. We try and figure out how many dinosaurs are in this particular thing, where they're going, how many there are. If they're all going the same direction, it heavily indicates that they were doing so as a group, which heavily implies that they are doing so as a herd. And that's how we get information about if certain dinosaurs live together in packs or groups and all of that type of thing. That's how it works. It's very, very cool. I refuse your evidence and shall show you my own evidence. My idea is cooler and thus it's the truth. That's very fun, okay. You know what, yeah. If we're going with the cooler idea, it would be cool to imagine that velociraptors did hunt in packs. I would like to believe that they would do. That sounds fun. But you know what, screw it, screw science, let's just imagine. The rule of cool. So yeah, if you guys have trackways near you or within like a distance that you could take a travel out to go see some, I highly recommend it. There's a couple places in the UK, there's tons of places in America that have it. I believe there's a few places in Africa as well. Definitely tons of places in various parts of Asia. So if you want to have travel out to have a look at some trackways, I highly recommend it. They're really, really cool. It's really interesting to look at these tracks and be like, oh god, these are millions of years old. Ooh. So, next we have... Oh, my boy. My girl, technically. This is my girl. This is who we were talking about at the very beginning of the stream. This is the Dilophosaurus. This is the Dilophosaurus. This is the Dilophosaurus. Oh boy. Okay, why are we starting again? Go back. Give me the Dilophosaurus, thank you very much. Thank you. I forgot I was saying. Okay, it's actually Dilophosaurus. Okay, I'm gonna explain this one. This whole time I've been referring to them as Dilophosauruses as like a bit. To the point that it's now just habit. Okay, it's Dilophosaurus, actually. Thank you very much. I apologize. Okay. Instead of Dilophosaurus. Okay, listen. It looks like Dilophosaurus. And I was like, hee hee, that's funny. Let's just keep calling it that. And then you just listen. Okay. Anyway, point is, the amount of information that they get wrong for the Dilophosaurus. There's so much wrong information about her. Look at her. She doesn't deserve all of the misinformation that is being spread about her. Look at her sweet little face. Look at her. Oh, she's so pretty. Ah! So, they get so much wrong about her in the film. They get so much wrong about her in the film. So... First of all, let's talk about it. Not this song. Absolutely not. Next. Thank you. Okay, so they get so much wrong. The most iconic scene in Jurassic Park is the scene in which this absolutely beautiful lady, she kills this man. She kills this man in cold blood. And I love her for it. However, it is one of the scariest scenes I have ever had to read in any novel ever. Genuinely. I just have Dilophosaurus that I am furry of all things. I love that. That's so cute. Here's thank you for the super honey. That's so adorable. Oh, baby. So, there's a character called Nedry. He decides that he's gonna get out of town. He's gonna steal a bunch of the dinosaur embryos and he's gonna get out of there. He's gonna leave. It doesn't go according to plan. He crashes his car into a ditch and gets ambushed by this beautiful lady. She then proceeds to spit acid in his face, making him blind, and then proceeds to eat him alive. if you do not mind descriptions of horror and gore of that particular capacity, I highly recommend taking a read of that particular passage because it is one of the best pieces of writing I've ever read in my entire life. It's also one of the most traumatizing. I had nightmares after reading it for the first time. I had nightmares watching this scene. I had nightmares after reading it as well. It's awful. It's an awful, awful scene. It's fantastic. You should read it. So here is the first thing. Did the Dilophosaurus have acidic spit? No, she probably didn't. We don't... She probably didn't. There is nothing to support the idea that she had acid or venom or any kind of capacity for that type of thing. I'm so sorry. It would have been really cool. She doesn't have it. I'm so sorry. Probably tells my childhood friend they 100% had silence. No, she didn't. Maybe she shot lasers out of her eyes instead. There's no evidence for lasers either. Okay, so Dilophosaurus, she doesn't have acid. She doesn't have venom. She doesn't have poison. She doesn't spit. I do apologize. She doesn't have that. The reason that it's in the film is because it's in the books. They just did it. The Dilophosaurus does not have acid. I do apologize. Another thing that is also going to be very upsetting. I'm going to pull up this particular image to support this currently, if I can. Here is the scene in the film with Nedry. Yippee! Look at that! Look at that! She's in the car! Yippee! In the book, she doesn't get into the car. She just straight up kills him outside. And then she picks him up by his head with her teeth and drags him off into the undergrowth. It's fantastic. Yeah. She has these very, very pretty, very, very gorgeous frills. Oops. Very, very gorgeous, very, very pretty frills in the film. I am so sorry to disappoint you. She doesn't have them in real life. They don't exist. I'm so sorry. Here's the crazy thing. Here is the crazy thing about the frills. Here is the crazy thing about the frills. At no point in time do they mention frills in the book. This is purely a thing that they added into the film just for funsies. It doesn't exist. They don't talk about it at all in the book. Not an FBI, they give it the super heady. Does it breathe fire? I wish. I think we all wish it did. Counterpoint, Your Honor, it looks cool. That can't be the excuse every time. Please. That can't be the excuse. Please. What do the book version and the movie version even have in common other than being theropod shaped? Not much. They just look like theropods. Pretty much. Well, they get the V. They get the nice, the V thing that they have on the head. They get that correct. That's good. They have the little thingies on the head. But no. Dilophosaurus did not have neck frills. I do apologize. I'm so sorry. Why do they have those little nubbins? The main theory for why they have the little nubbins, the little V-shaped nubbins on the head, they think it's a temperature thing. They think it's a temperature control thing. It was to stop them from getting too hot. That's one of the theories. The other theory is, again, mating. Head crest, that's the term for it. Thank you, darling. That's what they currently think. They think it's a temperature thing, or they think it's a mating thing. So why they had those, yeah. So yeah, she didn't have acid. She didn't have head frills. I do apologize. And one more thing as well. I have one more thing to disappoint you with. One more thing to disappoint you with. In actuality, she's really tall. She's really big. She's so unbelievably big. She's very, very, very big. In the film, she's teeny tiny. She's able to fit in the car. She's able to like, be... In the film, I think they make her about like 3 feet tall. She's teeny tiny. In actuality, she probably would have stood at around 8 feet tall, which is about 2.4 meters tall. She's big. Thank you, honey. SG, thank you for the super honey. Tall girls, best girls, yeah. Yeah, she would have been very tall. She would have been about, yeah, typically when they're fully grown would have been about 8 feet tall. So about 2.4 meters, 2.5 meters. Big Dino Jurassic Park shrunk. They really did. They made them tiny. I don't know why. I think the reason that they made her so small, they don't talk about how big she is. They don't talk about how big she is in the book, to be fair. They do talk about the fact that she's able to lift Nedry by, she grabs his head with her jaws and pulls him up to drag him off. So she's definitely big enough to be able to do that in the book. I think the reason that they made her so small in the film is just so that they could do the jump scare in the car. I think that's genuinely the only reason why they did that. They just thought that would be a cool shot. And in its defense, it is a really cool shot. I think that's the only reason they did it. That's my personal theory. Although I don't know if they talk about it in the behind the scenes, yeah. Rule of cool, yeah. You can just do whatever as long as it looks cool, yeah. Alright, next up we have Beep. Yippee! This is the Brachiosaurus! Yeah! Brachiosaurus is one of the largest dinosaurs ever! And do not worry, I'm not gonna tell you that they made the size different. In actuality, they were indeed that big. They seem to be pretty accurate in terms of size in the film. Do not worry, she's big. She's one of the biggest dinosaurs. Since the information that this film was based off has come out, we have actually found that there are other sauropods that have existed that are actually bigger. But just about, she seems pretty accurate from what I've been able to tell. I've heard that this dinosaur is a herbivore. She is! She's very much a herbivore. The Brachiosaurus in Jurassic Park, she's pretty accurate. She's really, really, really accurate. Which is fantastic. I think at the time we knew quite a bit about Brachiosaurus, so that's probably why. The only thing that I was able to really kind of glean is that they probably wouldn't have had their necks at such a sharp angle. They probably would have like taken them down a little notch to maybe have them at like a 45-degree angle, rather than in that really heavy 90-degree that you kind of see on the screen. So she's probably would have been a little odd, but you know what, I'm gonna let it off for that, because in this scene she is eaten from a very hard tree. Very high tree. So, you know what? I will forgive it. Here's the question everybody wants answered. Do Brachiosaurus travel in herds? Do they travel in herds? They say it in the scene. Do they actually travel in herds? And the answer is yes. Yes, they do. They do move in herds. Yeah, they very much do.
Thank you, honey.
We have substantial evidence for a good many Brachiosaurus trackways, as well as many other different types of sauropod trackways. So sauropods specifically are the dinosaurs that have the big long necks. It is substantial in terms of evidence to how much we have that they would have traveled in herds. We do think they did, so. They got it correct. Here's the other thing though. In this particular scene, we see the Brachiosaurus moving up onto two legs in order to reach leaves and branches at a higher altitude. Were they actually able to do that? Some sauropods were able to do that. No. Yeah. Some sauropods were actually able to do that. However, Brachiosaurus probably specifically wouldn't have been able to because she's big. She's a little bit too chunky to really be able to put much weight on her back legs. Some of them were able to do it, but she's a bit chunkier, a bit too much. It would have been a bit too much strain for her, so she probably would not have been able to push herself up onto two legs in the way that she does in the film, unfortunately. So that part's not particularly accurate, but you know what? The rest of her is great. FBI, thank you for the super, honey. Thank you. This one must have later eyes. Later eyes? Eh? What does that mean? What do you mean later eyes? How much would they need to eat if they moved in herds? They were probably like titanic locusts. Probably. Oh, laser eyes, perhaps? I see. Oh, we're bringing back the laser eyes. She doesn't have laser eyes. I promise you, we have no evidence for her having laser eyes. Oh no. I promise you she doesn't. I'm so sorry. She also doesn't wear white Vans. She doesn't. I know the video you're on about. She doesn't scream one of those at the top of her voice while wearing white Vans. I can promise you. There's no evidence for Jurassic white Vans. Oh boy. Okay, so Brachiosaurus, she's very accurate. She's so accurate. I love her. She's an icon. Mwah. Love you, sweet pea. Let's go! So, Gallimimus! Gallimimus! I like Gallimimus. They're very stupid. I love this stupid little thing. So, in the film and in the book, you don't actually get a whole lot of information that they state straight up about Gallimimus. They don't, like, talk about how like fast they are or anything like that. So there's really not a whole lot that I can fact check about them per se. So I'm going strictly based on visual and kind of all of the stuff. Plus an additional fact. SG, thank you for the super, honey. Thank you, thank you. Fossil record is biased against invertebrates and laser eyes. Can you imagine if we had like, if we had a fossil of a dinosaur with laser eyes? How would we even find a fossilized version of that? It's just a line from the dinosaur's eyes as it's dying. It just goes, wow. Oh, good lord. Okay, Gallimimus! In the film, Gallimimus are about right, really, to be honest. They seem accurate enough, to be honest. The only thing that is pretty inaccurate about these stupid little dudes is the fact that in actuality they probably would have had feathers. They probably would have been covered in tons and tons and tons of feathers, almost similarly to the Velociraptor, mostly covered in feathers. They think that's due to a heat thing. They think that's due to they want them to be warm and all that type of stuff. They look a lot like emus. They do. They're a feathery boy. In the film, they're actually running quite fast across this open landscape. I couldn't find any information as to whether or not they were sprinters or if they were endurance runners, unfortunately. I don't know if anyone knows that specifically. I couldn't find any evidence to support either claim. However, most people do kind of agree on the idea that they possibly could have run up to about 45 miles per hour. Which, what is that in kilometers? What is 45 miles per hour in kilometers? Do we know? Zoomy boys, they're very, very fast. When was that they were all feathery popularized? It seems like a decade after the film or so. I don't actually know when we started to think about dinosaurs as being feathered. Is that 72 kilometers an hour? That's about as, yeah, that is about as fast as a car. Oh my goodness me. So yeah, they were very, 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 very speedy. The only problem with all of that speed is that they kind of spec'd entirely into speed and kind of forgot that they did need intelligence. You will notice that these dudes are like 80% beak and really tiny little heads. Really teeny tiny little heads. And that's because their brain was about the size of a golf ball. They put all of their stats into speed. They got no wisdom. They got no intelligence. Their brain is the size of a golf ball. Uncapunga build? No, that would be strength. That would be all strength. That would be like an ankylosaurus, really. All defense, all strength. Oh boy. Poor Gallimimus, look at them. They're so stupid. They're so stupid. Min-maxing evil all the way back then. Oh yeah. Why think about the problem when you can just run away? Exactly. Exactly. That's the type of thoughts. But they look happy. I mean, in this particular scene, they're running for their lives. They're running in fear of a T-Rex that's hunting them. None of them asked why they were running. They were just like, oh, scary thing. Everyone else is running. Let's go. Oh, boy. Alrighty. Next. Alright, this is another one that we don't really have a whole lot going on. These are parasaurs. which they have a longer name that I can't actually pronounce, and I've never been able to pronounce it, so I'm just not going to. We don't really have a lot of information at all about these dudes specifically in the film. They kind of don't really address them. This is in the scene where they're like, they do travel in herds. They don't really talk about these dudes a whole lot, so I'm just gonna give you guys some facts about them. Did they travel in herds? Yes. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. We have found trackways for them specifically. We do think that they did travel in herds. They hung about together as a whole little group because safety in numbers and all that type of stuff. Fun fact, parasaurs, they could walk on 4 legs and on 2 legs. They could just choose whatever they wanted. Whenever they were kind of like moving about, the main theory is that they used 4 legs 90% of the time. But they were able to go onto 2 legs to reach things like high foliage and other things like that. So yeah, hey, look at that. Another thing is that they have this crest. They have a crest on their head that pins back, like this big horn type of thing. Meerkat style. Yeah, they could do that. I don't believe many people think it is for having a look about. I think most people believe it is due to getting foliage and things from high places. But yeah. Prehistoric Heelys. They didn't have wheels, but sure. They have this like horn, they have a crest on the very top of their heads. The theory for that is temperature regulation, very, very similar to the Dilophosaur. They think that it is due to temperature regulation. They think that it's a way for them to make sure that their brain doesn't overheat. Releases babies being quadruped primarily, yeah. So yeah, very, very interesting. We don't really have a whole lot of information from them specifically. Either from the book or the film. They're just kind of there in the background, which, fair enough, I suppose. Maybe it would have been cool to have something to research, but you know, it is what it is. They did normal mode and an alt mode, yeah! Of course they did. Alrighty. Next! Yippee! There he is. There's Mr. Spielberg himself. I was gonna use a picture from the actual scene, and then I found this image, and I was like, wow, this is so much cooler. I'm just gonna use this image of Mr. Spielberg himself sitting with the Triceratops animatronic. This was very, very cool. This was the giant Triceratops animatronic that they built for the scene. It's a very, very good picture. Yeah. All I want to know is how they taste like. No! Absolutely not. So, Triceratops are herbivores. They eat primarily plants. The little spines on their head are for defense. Seem to recall the Triceratops skeleton in my science museum being much larger. I don't know about that. From what I could tell, her size is pretty accurate, or at least accurate for a species of Triceratops that they were basing the whole thing on. So I think they get that pretty correct, which is very nice. 10 out of 10. So, one of the main things I want to point out at the very beginning is her feet. Look at her feet. They're very big. They're very stumpy. They're very, like, they can crush things under feet. I think they based her feet on elephants at the time. I think that's what they were mainly basing them on. Feet on stream. No! Dinosaurs! Dinosaurs! They based them on elephants at the very beginning. However, we now know that that is not really correct. Triceratops had toes. They had like full toes that they would like, you know, they could move individually and stuff. They had claws on those toes, and so instead of it being one big mess, they had individual digits to go along with that whole thing. Yippee, there we go. So she wouldn't have looked like an elephant. Yeah. The other two would have been claws and wouldn't make contact with the ground. Yes, you are right, yeah. For some species of trike as well. Yeah. So that's one of the main inaccuracies that they got. I think at the time there was much less information. So that's why they did that specifically. But it's very, very interesting. I like it a lot. Okay, this next fact is gonna be based on reference to the book and to the film. So this is the sick Triceratops. In both the film and the book, she gets sick. The guy that we hear talk about it in the film and in the book says that she gets sick every like 6 to 8 weeks with something. And they end up discovering that it's due to lilac poisoning. You know, they basically said that she wouldn't eat these particular types of plants that were very poisonous, but she does. And she does because the seeds look like rocks. They look like little stones and little rocks, so that's why she eats them. Why would a Triceratops be eating rocks? Triceratops have gizzard stones. There is substantial evidence for the fact that certain species of dinosaur, like Triceratops, would have been eating rocks for the sake of digestion. They would have been keeping these large rocks in their stomach to be grinding down plant matter to make it easier to digest. How do we figure that out? How do we know that? Well, it's because of gastroliths. I apologize if I'm getting that wrong in terms of pronunciation. Gastroliths, they are very smoothed out stones. They are stones that basically look that they've been tumbled, and it's because they have been tumbled. They've been tumbled inside of the stomach of dinosaurs. So it's very, very likely that dinosaurs like Triceratops would have been eating rocks for the sake of digestion. A bit like pearls. Not like pearls per se, but they definitely would have smoothed out the rocks. They're actually really cool. I wonder if I can find a picture of gastroliths. Gastroliths. Dinosaur. Prehistoric gastroliths. Yippee, here we go. This is from Wikipedia. Gastroliths. Oh, big. This is what they look like. Look how cool. They're these like big rocks that have been smoothed over by the fact that they've just been tumbled in the digestive system of these dinosaurs. Look at how cool. Isn't that cool? I like them a lot. Yeah. It makes me happy. So, that's the reason why the Triceratops in the film and in the book would have been eating lilac. Because the seeds look like rocks. So that's why they would have done that. So there we go. Oh, why are we back here? Why are we back here? Bink. Yeah. So there we go. I still love this animatronic. I love the way that it looks. It's so gorgeous. Oh my god. They did such a fantastic job on the set making all of these animatronics. They look so real. Oh my god. So, you will notice that we have gone through every single dinosaur that appears in the film specifically. However, There is one dinosaur in the book that is mentioned that I would like to talk about. We don't see it in this film, we see them later down the line. I would like to talk about the baby eaters themselves, the Compies. I want to talk about the Compies. Yep. These little dudes are tiny. They're absolutely tiny. I believe the film gets them pretty accurate in terms of how big they are. They are tiny. They are scavengers. They are just little dudes. Can I say the full name? I can't pronounce it. That's why I'm calling them Compies. Compsognathus? Compsognathus? So, Compsognathus? I don't know. It's one of the dinosaur names that I've never actually heard out loud, so I don't know how to pronounce it. Compies. Yeah. I did get it right first time? Yay! There we go. It's one of the ones that I've never heard out loud. These dudes are tiny. For context, in the book, there is two things about Compies. One of the scenes in the books that really freaked me out was the Nedry scene and the scene with the Compies. At the very beginning of the book, the Compies are said to eat a baby. There is a baby's room with an open window and a baby that is swaddled, and they take the opportunity, because no one is around to scare them off, to eat the baby. It is horrific. It's genuinely horrific. I had to stop reading halfway through because of how descriptive it is. This is another one of the scenes that I reread before today's stream. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. Oh boy. It's a very rough scene. And so here's the question. In reality, would Compies eat a baby? Would Compies eat a baby? Compsognathus ate bugs, small mammals, eggs, and various types of carcass and carrion. They were scavengers. They would go for anything that was an easy meal that would pose very little threat for them. And so it's very likely that Compies would in fact eat a baby if they had the opportunity to eat a baby. Opportunistic scavengers. This guy right here would eat a baby. Ah! Yep. Didn't the book mention something about having a paralytic bite? Yeah, that's the next thing that I'm gonna get into. What? Oh god, yeah. This is a horrid background music for this. Mind you, I don't think that there's gonna be any background music that's really gonna be like... gonna be appropriate for that. I feel like, yeah, circusy type music along with like, oh yeah, your baby's been eaten by dinosaurs, by the way. Ooh, okay. I'm gonna change the tune, please. That's better. How's that? I don't really think there's gonna be a background music that's going to be appropriate for that, to be honest. There is a appropriate music to the baby eating discussion. Oh god. I don't think that is. I don't think there's anything appropriate for that. Oh goodness me. Lo-fi beats with rain music, with rain sounds to chill and eat children too. Oh my goodness me. Oh my goodness me. Oh my goodness me. Oh boy. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about with the Compies, not only do they eat a baby, they also eat another character. Spoilers. I can't remember what this character is called. Admittedly, I didn't reread this scene because it freaked me out the first time I read it, and I didn't want to recreate it, admittedly. So they eat another person. We spared no expense. They eat another person. During that scene, they describe the character as becoming incredibly lethargic, and it heavily implies this is also very inappropriate music for this. It's heavily implied that the Compies have a soporific venom. What do I mean by soporific venom? I mean a venom that is specifically designed to calm the victim into falling asleep. Is it Hammond? It might be Hammond. So one bite basically doesn't do much to you because it's such a tiny amount of venom. But the problem is that in the books and in the film, the Compies come in packs. And so all of those teeny tiny little bites add up. And eventually you find yourself stumbling and falling asleep as they close in on you. Did Compies have venom, and did they have soporific venom? No, probably not. Thank God. No, they did not. They didn't have that venom. They didn't have bites that make you all lethargic and not notice that you're being snuck up on. No, they didn't. So even though that's a very interesting scene. Yes. No evidence of chemicals in the saliva to numb or calm the prey. Yep. So Compies did not have venom. They were, however, very capable of eating a baby. So shout out to the Compies, I suppose. Thanks for the baby eating. Maybe. I'm glad you're extinct. Would have been a better way to go to the alternative of being eaten alive. I suppose so. I don't know. Waste no free calories. I guess so, but goodness me. Ooh. I wonder if there's any dinosaurs that bite like Komodo dragons, so they are filled with bacteria and essentially poisonous. I don't know. I can't think of any that come to mind currently. But to be honest, nature's kind of weird in the sense of anything could really happen. There's a whole lot of stuff in nature that is just kind of freaky and strange and kind of awful to think about. So maybe there is. Maybe there was. What's the phrase? Life finds a way. I feel like that's a good sentence to circle back on. Life finds a way. Trudons? Really? Hang on. Are they the ones that I'm thinking about? Oh yeah! The little dudes! Interesting! Is this part of Jurassic Park? Or is this like real? Ah, I see. There is no evidence in real life to suggest. However, in the Jurassic Park game, they make them a bit like Komodo dragons. There we go. That would have been cool though. That would be really cool. That would be very, very cool. Music to get devoured by animals, dude. Oh god. Do you have a being devoured by animals playlist? That's horrifying. Why must reality always disappoint? I don't know. I, for one, even though I really appreciate dinosaurs and I think they're really cool to know about, I have never been so ecstatic that creatures don't exist anymore. I'm so happy that they're extinct. Especially Quetzalcoatlus. Especially Quetzalcoatlus. Quetzalcoatlus, I hate. They scare me so much because they're so big. I hate them. I hate them so much. Being poisoned and being toxic are two different strategies. It's true. What's the... Because there's a type of lizard that's like the most poisonous in the world. Or the most toxic in the world. He has like the... Hang on. Most toxic lizard... The Gila monster! Bite may be agonizing. Oh, ha! Over 30 years ago, scientists discovered the potential of the Gila monster venom as a treatment for type 2 diabetes. That's so cool! Huh. That's very cool. I don't know. Nature is scary, and I'd rather just not mess with it as much as possible, I think. Keeping a respectful distance is always good. It makes me happy. I like to see things doing well and see things doing well in nature, but I don't know. Dinosaurs have a special place in my heart. I'm glad that we could talk about them today. and have fun talking about them. It makes me happy. Have I seen the woolly mammoth mice that they just made? Yes, I have! Yeah! They were able to isolate the, is it the gene? I don't know much about the process, unfortunately. They were able to, like, isolate something that recreated the excessive amounts of fur. Which is so cool. That's so unbelievably cool. They're so fluffy. They made something that didn't exist. Well, that's what science tends to do. Or they synthesize something that already exists but not enough of. The real question is, would they sell them? I think they would sell quite well. I think they would like... I think there's a lot of people that would like them. I don't think it's going to happen though. I'm sure it's expensive to be able to do that. Thank you for talking to me about dinosaurs. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys had fun. I hope you learned something new. I hope that I was able to like teach you a little bit of pieces about dinosaurs and stuff. Why can't they just make Jurassic Park with like lizards? Please do not make Jurassic Park. As I said before, there's like 6 movies and 2 books saying why that's a bad idea. Interesting to hear about this since I'm very passionate about it. Yeah, I like dinosaurs. I have a lot of very like specific passions. I just think dinosaurs are cool. I just think they're fun. I think biology in general is really fun. I didn't really have like the attention span to like learn much about science in school. I always tried my best anyway, but nothing really captivated me other than like biology. And I just think it's kind of fascinating to find out about like Earth and life on Earth and why it exists and how it continues to exist. There's so many creatures that just should not exist but still do just for the sake of the fact that they do. It's amazing. School made every subject I lived to learn about so boring, so I can't judge you for that. Well, I think it's just because I didn't have like a natural affinity for it. I used to be one of those people. I've kind of learned to adapt to it now. I used to be one of those people that like if I wasn't good at something immediately, I'd like feel really bad about myself and just kind of not do great with it. It would make me feel really bad, but you know, I'm trying to get over that now and just accept that I'm going to be bad at new things and that that's still worth the effort. So many exist through sheer determination and spite. Yeah, like those fish! There's like a fish in the middle of a desert somewhere that exists in like one teeny tiny very specific ecosystem in a pool, and people have tried to like poison those teeny tiny endangered fish because they're like, we have oil under this like area, and they've tried to poison the fish so that they can get building rights, but because they're like a hyper endangered species, because they only live in this one little pool of water, they're like, no, you're not allowed to. And they've tried to like move the fish. They've tried to take like a fish out of the environment and try and create a stable environment outside of that cave. And it doesn't work. They somehow just can't recreate the specific needs of the fish outside of that cave. Because the fish will just adapt to not be that fish anymore. So yeah, people have tried to kill those fish. They've tried to poison them very specifically. I love them. They exist despite. Yeah. Fish. I don't remember what they're called. I can't remember what they're called. Devil's Hole Pupfish! Yeah! That's them, the Devil's Hole Pupfish. I'll get you guys an image. Devil's Hole Pupfish. So yeah, they try really hard to like move these fish to somewhere else as like a fun thing. Here they are. They tried really hard to like move them elsewhere to be like, oh, well, you know, we can make these, attempt to make them not endangered. But when they moved them to artificial places, to an artificial environment, they adapted to just be regular pupfish. So they stopped being the type of fish that they are to become a different type of fish. So they can only be this type of fish in that specific cave. These little guys, Oil, like, dudes who like oil and are trying to make, like, millions of dollars off of oil hate these fish, and I love them. Oh gosh, I'm gonna have a time doing this now. Danakivus? Danakivus -2? Thank you for the membership, honey. Thank you. Welcome, welcome. Please enjoy the emotes. What about the cave makes them change? They don't know. As far as I know, they don't know. They've tried to make, like, environments that mimic the same thing with the cave. They can't do it. They've never successfully done it. These fish hate capitalism. It's beautiful. Truly, truly beautiful. I love them so much. Apparently it's also the most inbred fish on the in the world, which, I mean, that makes sense because, I mean, they're only found in one area, so, like, yeah. How do they change when they're in a different environment? They just become regular pup fish. Some fish are just, like, they just adapt, which is insane. They just become, like, they become a pup fish, but they become just a different type of pup fish. They become a regular type of pup fish instead of, like, the blue. Family tree is a wreath. It's a circle. They've also tried, as far as I'm aware, they've also tried to breed the specific genome that makes the pup fish, like, bright blue. As far as I know, they've tried to breed it into other types of pup fish, and it just doesn't happen. It just doesn't do it. The idea of fish just changing species like that is so odd. And they're not changing species, they're just changing the part of them that makes them, like, devil's hole pupfish. They're still pupfish, they're just a different type. A lot of genes are only expressed in response to environmental factors. Yeah, it's very, very interesting. They bred mice that glow in the dark. Yes, they did. I believe they also did that with cats, unless I'm mistaken. Could it be something like their food? With flamingos and stuff, it makes them pink. They don't know what it is. As far as I know, they have no idea what makes them the way that they are. They have absolutely no idea. Critically endangered. Some people argued that's, oh, they have to be people who like oil. Some people have argued that they should be allowed to go extinct. That sucks. No. These fish hate capitalism. It's beautiful. They intend to use the woolly gene to make woolly elephants at some point. Yeah, I remember reading the article about it. And that's what they said, that they were trying to replicate woolly mammoths again, which is very, very interesting. I'd be interested to see what a woolly mammoth actually looks like. Oh god. Oh boy. I had fun today. I had so much fun today. Thank you for coming. I really appreciate it. I know that, like, dinosaurs isn't everybody's thing, but I hope that you still had fun as well. It's just nice to talk. I learned lots. Yeah, I like stuff like this. I will hopefully do more of it in the future. I like learning new things. I like being able to talk about new things. Show of hands demonstrated is everyone's thing. Peter Hoffman, thank you for the 8 months, honey. Thank you, thank you. Thanks for a lovely stream. Thank you, thank you. I think I'm gonna head off. I am probably... I had an apple before today's stream, but I'm probably gonna make some actual food now, I think. Top favorite stream recently. I'm glad! I'm so glad. I want to do more streams like this. I'm having to get a little creative at the moment because of the one monitor thing. But I'm glad to just kind of take some time off of all of the stuff going on at the moment to talk to you guys about dinosaurs and have a nice time. So yeah, I hope you had a fun stream. I hope you had a good time. I will hopefully be doing more stuff soon. I apologize about how kind of like guerrilla-y everything's kind of been. I've mentioned it a few times already now, but it's just yeah. I don't know what my weeks are looking like on the regular because appointments and stuff. So this is the way that it has to be for the moment, at least. Hopefully things will be good. So, yeah. Thank you for coming. I really appreciate it. Shall we... let's see. Ah! Pia's doing her 4-year donathon. Should we raid into Pia? How is she live right now? Pia. Is she offline right now? She's offline right now. I see. I see. Is my streaming? Is she? She's not coming up on my thing. She's sleeping. I see. Oh, Mai's about to stream. Ah, I see. I know Kana's streaming. Kana's streaming Monster Hunter. Do you guys want to watch Monster Hunter? We could wait a little bit for Mai, or we could go into Kana. What do you guys think? It depends on what you guys want. Monster Hunter. Mai starts in 3 minutes for part of her donathon. Is she doing a donathon? Yeah. It's her anniversary, I believe. Isn't it? Kana, more dinosaur. Wouldn't mind watching more Monster Hunter. Let's wait for Mai. Mai's got a new oh, okay. He. Is it, which day is it? I will just have to wait for her to come online then. Is it day 4? I see. Naruhodo. I see. Oh, she's doing... Oh, she's doing a watch along. I see. I'll write into that then. If I can make that happen. She had one earlier where she did emotes. I see. Okay, I'm gonna early raid into that then, so I can go and eat. Washa! Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna do an early raid into that then. When she comes online, please tell her that she's very cute and very wonderful. Tell her that I hope she has a wonderful time with her new model. I will see you guys soon, hopefully. I will keep you guys updated on Twitter and such for when I'm streaming and doing things. So yeah, have a wonderful evening. Go get snacks, go get drinks, have a wonderful time, and I will see you guys very soon. Bye bye. Wah.